It's no surprise that Persona fans are eating extremely well in the past few years, and 2023 is going to see the release not just of Persona 5 Tactica, but heading into early next year, we're going to see the release of Persona 3 Reload, of course a brand new remake for Persona 3. In this video, I want to go over 10 brand new features that are being introduced to Persona 5 Tactica, which is set to release onto the Nintendo Switch, Xbox Game Pass of course, PC and PlayStation consoles on November 17th. Not only are we talking about new features that are going to be covering gameplay changes like the taking cover options, the battle systems, the brand new unique skills, even skill trees being added in, and of course the infamous talking events, but I also want to talk a little bit about some of the characters, some of the brand new details that we received there, and more importantly, Marie's Kingdom. This is pretty much the first dungeon you get to experience into the game. Not only that, I want to talk about a little bit about the kingdom's overviews, since plenty of brand new details have been revealed. The Atlas Japanese website actually provided us with not just the brand new screenshots you're seeing here today, which thankfully they are in English, but I'm also going to be leaving a link in the description below for a Nintendo Everything article which kind of summarized everything up. First and foremost, I want to talk about the kingdom's overviews. Basically, essentially what all the explorationable areas that you have available in the game. The Phantom Thieves of Hearts find themselves suddenly transported to a bizarre metaverse and are surrounded by a military group known as the Legionnaires. The thieves put up a fight, but to no avail. As the Legionnaires' leader, Marie enters the fray as brainwashed as all the thieves except Joker and Morgana get to fight. The two are narrowly rescued by the leaders of the rebel corps, Erina, who informs them that the metaverse they've stumbled across is called the Kingdoms. They manage to evade Marie's pursuit and Erina's help when they arrive at the rebel corps hideout, where they're shocked to find that they're splitting image of LeBlanc. So of course that'll be your home once again. Since the new metaverse, the Kingdoms, doesn't seem to be a palace, then what could it possibly be, and what is LeBlanc doing in a foreign realm? Your task is to uncover the secrets of the kingdom and rescue the brainwashed Phantom Thieves of Hearts. So that's pretty much the basis of the entire operations, the basis of the entirety of the game, and that is how you can expect to kind of get trickled little bits of story progressing as you start the title. Next, they provide us some details regarding the very first dungeon, which is called Marie's Kingdom. And Marie's Kingdom is ruled by the tyrant Marie and her military organization, the Legionnaires. Her crazy obsession with power and control of the citizenships is all that is her master plan, to the stage of her perfect wedding. After striking a deal when they agreed to the aid of the rebel corps, Joker and Morgana set out to rescue their friends, but searching brings them to a jail where they stumble upon a man named Toshiro Kasukabe. Toshiro is revealed to be the politician who went missing in the real world, but he claims to have no memory of how he wandered into the metaverse or why he was imprisoned. Joker and Morgana have their doubts about his story, but decide to wait to see how things go. Not long after, there's an announcement that Marie has found a groom and she intends to marry. So that is pretty much some of the things that you do get to see in the screenshots, where she is basically looking for a husband. Basically the entire boss fight, she's wearing like a wedding gown, and she tries to get even some of the Phantom Thieves to basically dress up for the wedding as well. Once again, you get to see that in some of the screenshots in the background. Moving over to actual gameplay, they do talk about brand new features like the taking cover option. This time, taking cover like a true Phantom Thief is key. By ending your turn while taking cover, you will reduce the damage from enemies or completely block their attacks. But on the flip side, if you're not taking cover and get hit by an enemy, the enemy will gain a 1 more and be able to attack again. So always make sure that you make your move by a nearby place to take cover. So in typical strategy game RPG fashion, you do have a kind of like a defense mechanism where if you're able to hide behind something, I believe the like Rabbids Mario game kind of showcased this relatively well. You hide behind cover, you know, you're going to be able to be relatively safe in that regard. You still take damage, but you know, the game is designed with that in mind. When it comes to the actual battle system, you can experience a new twist on the classic system with elemental weaknesses. Use the burn attack or Agi to make the enemies take advantage when they end their turn. Then use the shock attack Seo to make enemies unable to move for one turn. Inflict various elements using different elemental attacks in this brand new battle system. In addition, after hitting enemies by taking cover with a skill, get a 1 more by hitting them again. Utilize skills to the maximum and outplay the enemy by inflicting elements and creating opportunities to get a 1 more. So not only do you want to hide behind taking cover options, but you also want to be able to abuse their elemental weaknesses. This is something that Persona previous titles have, kind of like added to the fold and have been pretty much relatively good in that regard. Players do enjoy getting that once more because you can actually abuse the enemies in that regard. And in that same manner, they talk about unique skills. Whenever you hit an enemy or get hit by an enemy during battle, the star-shaped voltage gauge near the bottom right-hand side of the screen will fill up. Once the gauge is fully charged, it's time to unleash a character-specific unique skill. These are a wide variety of skills, from hard-hitting attacks to help for support abilities. Even if the situation looks dire, never give up. Turn the tables with a powerful ability. Once again, something that you have seen in previous Persona games. The more you kind of just build things over time, you can certainly save it for those unique opportunities where you definitely want to get a certain specific enemy down as quickly as possible. That's why you want to save some of those unique attacks. Another feature that they talk about here is the skill tree. Every single party member has their own skill tree, and you get to choose how each character grows and evolves by winning battles to increase levels that Phantom Thief, or by listening on the group's listening conversations and talk events. You can earn GP or growth points that will unlock skills in the skill tree. You can then reset all the skills you've acquired and get back all the GP you've used at any one time. So feel free to try out different skill combinations as much as you want to customize your characters to your exact liking. So in typical, once again, strategy RPG fashion, you do have a skill tree. This is probably something new to the Persona franchise that we've not seen before, because usually you just gain strength, resistance, stamina, HP, SP, whatever naturally by just leveling up. But this time around, you do have skills that you naturally can gain by unlocking them, and you get to pick which ones you actually want to pick up earlier than others. The benefit is, once again, you can reset the entire system and try a different build if you so desire. They also talk about talk events, which is another key feature of this franchise. They listen to chit chat between groups of members at the hideout and even talk events. Listen to conversations that will put you deeper into the story, including discussions between characters about new topics and situations that have never been heard before. Get a glimpse at never before seen side of the thieves and Erna, all while enjoying more of the story in the talk event. In addition, listening to talk events will net you GP, so you can use them in the skill tree. Listening to fun conversations, all while helping your characters grow. What a steal. So while previous entries may have had the talk sequences and talk events as you unlock them, this time around you do get the benefit of essentially unlocking more GP to be able to unlock more skills during the talent tree. So that is beneficial in that regard. The last few things that I do want to touch upon is that they do give a little bit of an outline for each one of the characters if you don't necessarily know who they are. First and foremost, to talk about the protagonist, or of course Joker, voiced by Sander Mobus, a second high-year student. He goes by the codename Joker in the metaverse. His persona is Arsene. He becomes enrolled by psychotic breakdown incidents that take place in Tokyo and awaken as a persona user. He soon becomes the leader of the notorious Phantom Thieves of Hearts, a group committed to purging twisted desires and corrupt adults. The Phantom Thieves are kicking back at LeBlanc one day when they are suddenly transported to a mysterious, never-before-seen part of the metaverse. Of course, if you have played at the very least the base Persona 5, you should have some concept of what some of these characters are, but of course Persona 5 Royale gives a little bit more in-depth explanations for each one of them. They also talk about Morgana, a talking cat, who was imprisoned within the metaverse until being rescued by Joker. who he accompanies thereafter. He looks like a cat in the real world, and the Phantom and through the Phantom Thieves can. Underneath his speech, anyone else hears a cat sounds, they've heard him in the metaverse. He has vast knowledge of the metaverse, serving as a combination mascot and guide to the Phantom Thieves. Of course, once again, if you have finished the game, you already know there is a little bit of a teaser there that you might not necessarily know about. They also talk about Erina, a mysterious girl who's rescued by the Phantom Thieves before they suffer a complete loss in the metaverse. She has a habit of rushing for the aid of anyone dealing with injustice. Though caution is not her strong suit, her confidence of a spunky personality drives the Rebel Corps to give it their all. She aims to liberate the lands from the oppressive ruler and makes a deal with the Phantom Thieves for this end. And of course, she is essentially the person you are helping in this specific title. Every spin-off Persona game does introduce a couple of characters to the story that kind of are standalone in their own vein, and Erina is the one in this game. They also talk about Ryuji, a high school student who was once forced to give up his dreams by a malicious PE teacher and branded a troublesome beyond correction. He and the protagonist he and Joker should say, stumble into the metaverse together and awaken Persona users. The two quickly form a bond over their simple plights and create the Phantom Thieves' heart in order to wage battle against the adults and their twisted desires. Although he does have a short fuse, he more than makes up for it by being a steadfast friend with a courage and moral conviction to stand up against anyone who does harm. Comrades or otherwise, his persona is Captain Kidd. And of course, once again, if you know the story about the first game, you know that Ryuji is pretty much Joker's best bud. They also talk about Anne, a stunningly beautiful girl who's a one-quarter American. She's isolated from her peers because of her looks. When her best friends and so confident was in a bind, that's an interesting way to put it, Anne sacrificed herself to protect her. After spending some time with Joker and the others, she resolves to take the stand against corrupt adults, thus awaken a Persona user and joining the Phantom Thieves of Hearts. She possesses a remarkable strength that will allow her to defy evildoers, as well as the compassion to help others in distress. Having lived abroad, she excels in English but struggles just as much as Ryuji in other subjects. Her persona is Carmen. And lastly, they talk about Toshiro, one of the characters that we spoke about earlier, a young up-and-coming Diet member rumored to be the next prime minister. After becoming lost, then imprisoned in the metaverse for reasons he can't recall, he opts to tag along the Phantom Thieves after being rescued. He's a straight-laced, hyper-rational, and although he shines in the straightest things, his political savvy and the ability to view situations objectively. A neurotic fear of fighting and injury will often set him back into safety-first mindset. So, once again, a couple of introduced characters that we didn't have in previous Persona games, and of course, the band being brought up together. They didn't talk about the other characters because I'm assuming they're going to do another one of these blog updates in the future and provide us with more details for some of the other characters being introduced and some of the ones that are going to be coming back. But that's about all the information that I have for you guys today. Once again, link in the description below for the Nintendo Everything article. And if you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.